How dare you come near me? Stay away from me, you absolutely disgust me!
And loud enough to cut through the busy street. The old man staggered back a step, his thin body shaking, his eyes wide with shock. People stopped walking. Conversations died mid-sentence. A silence spread, thick and uncomfortable. As the woman stood frozen, with her hands still in the air, she was dressed in white. Not a wedding dress, but close enough to glow. Her engagement ring caught the light like a promise to the future. Today was supposed to be perfect. Today was supposed to be about her. The old man did not shout. He did not raise his voice. He did not even lift his hand to his cheek. He simply stood there, shoulders slightly bent, rain-stained coat hanging loose on his thin frame. His hair was gray and untrimmed. His shoes were worn and cracked. To everyone watching, he looked like nothing more than a dirty old man who had crossed a line. Her name was Clara. Wells. She came from a world of clean floors and polished smiles. Her life was built on plans, schedules, and careful steps. Today was the first day of the rest of her life. Her fiancé was waiting for her at the hotel across the street, surrounded by flowers and guests who had traveled far to celebrate them. And now this. The old man had not even touched her. He had stumbled while walking past, his elbow brushing her arm as he lost balance. But Clara had already been tense, already stressed, already surrounded by eyes. She reacted before thinking. The crowd did not defend him. No one rushed to help. A few people whispered. Some nodded, as if she had done the right thing. Others looked away, not wanting to be part of it. The old man bent down slowly and picked up his walking stick from the ground. His hand shook, but his face stayed calm. There was pain in his eyes, but not anger. Something heavier lived there. Something old. He looked at Clara one last time, not with hate, but with a sadness that did not ask for pity. Then he turned and walked away, each step slow, careful. Measured, Clara felt a strange tightness in her chest as she watched him go. It passed quickly. She straightened her dress, lifted her chin, and crossed the street. Her day was too important to be ruined by a stranger. The old man's name was Elias Rowan. Very few people knew it anymore. Fewer still knew what that name once meant. Decades ago, Elias had stood tall in a uniform that fit him perfectly. His back had been straight, his hands steady, his eyes sharp with purpose. He had served his country in places where the air smelled like metal and dust, where nights were filled with fear and quiet prayers. He had lost friends there, men whose faces still visited him in sleep, men who never came home. When Elias returned, the world had moved on without him. Jobs were scarce. Promises were empty. He worked where he could, did what he could, and kept going. He married a kind woman who loved his silence and understood his scars. They dreamed small dreams together. A little house, warm meals, peace. Then she got sick. Hospitals became his second home. The smell of clean halls and weak hope followed him everywhere. Bills piled up. Savings vanished. He sold what he could. When she passed, Elias buried her with his own hands shaking, whispering goodbye into the cold earth. After that, the ground never felt steady again. Time bent his back. Work dried up. Friends faded. Pride kept him from asking for help. Slowly, quietly, Elias slipped through the cracks of the world he once served. But one thing never left him. His dignity. The slap on the street did not break him. It was just another mark in a long line of unseen wounds. That night, Elias sat alone on a bench near the airport fence. He often came here. Watching planes lift into the sky reminded him that some things still moved forward, even when he felt stuck. The cold air smelled of fuel and rain. He wrapped his coat tighter and closed his eyes. He had somewhere to be in the morning. Claire's engagement day arrived, bright and loud. The hotel buzzed with laughter, music, and perfume. Guests smiled, glasses clinked, and phones captured every angle. Her fiancé, Nathan, stood proud and confident, shaking hands and accepting praise. Their future looked flawless from the outside. Clara moved through the room like she belonged there, but something nagged at her. A memory she did not invite. an old face. Sad eyes, she pushed it away. Then the room shifted. Heads turned. Conversations slowed. A hush spread as people looked toward the glass doors. Outside, in the open stretch of the hotel lawn, a private jet rolled to a stop. Its white body gleamed under the sun. The door opened. A man stopped out. He wore a clean, dark coat. His hair was neatly trimmed. His posture was straight despite his age. His eyes scanned the crowd with quiet control. Behind him followed two younger men who moved with respect, not command. Clara's breath caught. She recognized him. Not the clean coat. Not the jet. But the eyes, it was the old man. Whispers rippled through the guests. Who is that? Do you know him? Is he important? Elias walked forward slowly. Each step carried weight. Not the weight of money, but of history. He stopped a few feet from Clara and Nathan. Nathan frowned, confused, annoyed. Clara felt the room closing in. Her heart pounded against her ribs. Elias did not look at Nathan. He looked at Clara. I believe you struck me yesterday, his voice calm, steady, clear. The words landed heavier than the slap had. Clara's face burned. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Elias turned slightly, addressing the room. I did not come for anger. I did not come for revenge. I came because silence has ruled my life long enough. People listened. No one checked their phone. No one spoke. Elis explained who he was. Not as a poor man. Not as a victim. But as a former officer, a builder, a husband, a man who had lost everything except his name, he spoke of service. Of sacrifice. Of how easy it is to forget the faces that age and fade once they are no longer useful. Then he said the words that changed the air. Respect costs nothing, but its absence costs us everything. Nathan shifted uncomfortably. Clara's eyes filled with tears she did not expect. Elias reached into his coat and removed a small folded paper. He handed it to Nathan. Inside was a donation agreement, a large one. For veterans with no home, for people like him, I was invited here today, Elias said softly. Not as a guest, but as a reminder. The truth settled in. The jet, the quiet respect, the hidden strength. Elias was not powerless. He had chosen a life of silence, not because he was weak, but because he was tired. Clara felt her knees weaken. The room blurred. She stepped forward, voice shaking, eyes down. I was wrong. I judged you. I hurt you. I am sorry. Elias studied her face. He saw fear, shame, growth trying to begin. He nodded once. Apologies matter when they come with understanding. Then he turned to leave. As he walked away, something unexpected happened. One by one, guests stood. Not clapping. Not cheering. Just standing. Silent. Respectful. Clara watched him go, tears finally falling. The day she thought was about celebration had become something else entirely. A lesson carved deep into her heart. Later, long after the jet disappeared into the sky, Clara would remember one final line Elias spoke before leaving. The strongest people are often the ones you step over without seeing. The engagement party never returned to its noise. Conversations stayed quiet. Smiles softened. Something real had passed through that room. In the days that followed, Clara changed. She visited shelters. She listened more than she spoke. She learned how thin the line was between comfort and collapse. Elias returned to a quiet life, but not an invisible one. His name carried weight again. Not because of wealth, but because of honor. Asterisk, and somewhere between a slap and a jet in the sky. A truth became clear. You never know who someone is until you see how they carry silence. If this story moved you, take a moment to think about how you treat those. TheWorldOverlooks.com. Where you are watching from, and share what this story made you feel. Subscribe for more stories that honor silent strength, hidden battles, and the power of respect.